coffee. I've had way too much coffee today, so if at any point you're like, you're not making any damn sense, just pull the mic away from me. But we're live in the studio, Team Early as Fuck podcast. We have coaches Steph and Alex. Steph was unable to join us for the first breakdown. I gotta lean way back here to see Alex, but that's okay. We can make this work. Steph, what's up?
Hi, how's it going?
We'll introduce you. What you do for fun, what you enjoy, where you coach, favorite breakfast. We'll start with that.
All right, so I'm coaching at Fraternal. Favorite thing?
Adults, youth.
So do the
burpee only class. What are we talking about?
No, luckily we don't have a burpees only class. Thank God. So the adult workouts and then also the development program. So
awesome.
Like junior high.
Mm-hmm. How long have you been doing that?
Almost a year, since February of 2019.
Awesome. And how long have you been doing CrossFit?
CrossFit, almost 3 years.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Why getting into coaching? Just a quick review for everyone.
Yeah, so I have a customer service background and really didn't find anything that connected. My background's in art, and I just love helping people in CrossFit, and I'm a runner, so I like to work with people with that too, and thought, what if I got my L1?
Nice.
So went for it and been coaching since.
Fair enough. Who's a better runner, you or Jackie?
Jax, for sure.
Okay, all right.
She's a beast.
She is a beast. I was just curious. What'd you think of these? Oh, and then we've got Alex Rolfs. Alex, quick intro. Oh, we forgot favorite breakfast, so when we come back to stuff, we'll answer that. Alex, what do you do for fun? Where do you coach? What's your favorite breakfast?
I coach at CrossFit Stevens Point. All the things that I do for fun are at CrossFit Stevens Point. It's a part of me that I'm working on. I need to find other hobbies and but really I can't think of it. I play golf during
you do.
the summer. I used to be pretty competitive with that. It's kind of a cool getaway for me, and we've got some cool golf courses around here. Own CrossFit Stevens Point now, coach adult classes, so have been living that lifestyle since 2013. Favorite breakfast, I used to make like a go-to like breakfast bagel sandwich that was pretty good. 2 eggs, 2 pieces of bacon, smothered in yellow mustard and mayonnaise, and I would usually have 2 of them, and then I'd feel sick after it. But now I've got someone, Emily, who makes me like a pretty awesome like scrambler like every other morning that I'm really enjoying right now. It's nice when someone else makes it for you. I'll let Steph chime in on
I like it.
Favorite breakfast.
So back to Steph, favorite breakfast.
So waffles or pancakes, between the two.
Anything on them? What's the topping of choice?
Oh, any kind of nut butter.
For
sure.
Yeah.
Cinnamon, nut butter.
You put
fruit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, Steph, we gotta catch up with you. Last couple workouts, bullet point open. We're heading into the last event. We'll do another recap next week, kind of wrap it all up. But we've had the endurance event, It's a Trap, the strength event, the Black Knight Rises, and the sprint event, 30 for 30. Let's start with It's a Trap. What did that look like for you personally as an athlete, and then what were you kind of coaching people on in that workout?
So for me personally, I'm doing the intermediate division this year, and it's one where on paper it doesn't look that bad, and then you get to round 3 or 4 of the 10, and it's just awful but awesome.
Yeah.
I like thrusters, but it was like,
gross.
Where am I? Like, why am I doing this to myself again?
Why did you pick intermediate? What was your rationale behind that?
So I'm at the point where I can do more of the heavier weights that are under the intermediate for required movements or whatnot, and some of the movements too, like double unders, things like that. I don't quite have my pull-ups.
Okay.
I can do a couple strict, but not kipping or stringing a whole bunch together. So I figured that would push me, but it would still be where I'm not just gonna be stuck on a movement in one of the workouts.
Yeah.
So
you're gonna have fun with this last event with 100 pull-ups, 100 handstand push-ups.
Yeah, I was thinking breaking it down into 5s because I'm gonna have to do them strict. So.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'd get 10 maybe.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then so you were in round 3,
Mm-hmm.
starting to have a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
What was your game plan going into that workout?
Well, I actually did it we had a couple different groups do it, and I did it in the last one. So from other people doing it and pushing them through it, it was basically, that's what they said, round 3 or 4, that's where you kind of hit the wall where it's like, how far in am I? How much more do I have to go? And just keep moving.
Did you place better on the row or the 10 round component?
On the round.
The rounds?
Yeah.
You feel like your time was better than your total meters?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I tripped up in my double unders every single set. At one point, the rope was just wrapped around one leg completely. I was like, I don't even know right now.
I had that as well.
Yeah.
What were you kind of, how did you go about coaching that with people then? What were you focusing on?
Yeah, just keep moving. So we had a varied group of scaled to master scaled to RX. So talking with them, everybody kind of strategized before going in. And like the RX, with it being the 50 pounds for the dumbbells, it was, okay, I'm going to try to string them together every single set.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then if they struggled or stopped, it was like, okay, you got to, stop for a second, but pick it up, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And then our scaled athlete, she destroyed it.
Yeah.
She didn't stop. She had no quit in her, didn't even stop for a breather.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, tell me how you did that.
We had one of those.
Yeah.
It still definitely hurts, the workout.
For sure.
I've got a coaching question for the two of you. Do you like coaching double unders? What's your how do you go about that? Do you have anything you'd like to share with people?
I don't mind coaching it. I get the frustration because that's the point I was at before I got them. And, I forced myself to struggle through Metcons trying to do it. When I knew I could do it, I just couldn't string them. So it was, one, maybe 2 or 3 at a time. So I get when people get frustrated, and it's just kind of trying to give them the advice I was giving myself, like, take a second, take a deep breath, don't get frustrated, just try to keep going.
Yeah.
Focus on the form, and just really watching the small things to try to help them with, whatever it would be. Like if you're not flicking towards your toes enough, or, you're kipping your feet back, or whatever it would be.
The donkey kick.
That's catching up, yeah. So.
Nice. Did you have like an aha moment with your double unders? What was that? What did that look like?
It was a workout that our coach, Becca, was coaching, and something just clicked where she said, you just have to slow down. You're going to feel it when you get that cadence right. And I really just slowed down a little bit more than I had been because, you like to go fast, especially, when you start getting them, you just speed up. And it was just like midair.
Yeah.
You just have that, you feel the cadence then, where you're at the right pace and just keeping moving with your wrists. So
nice.
Cadence was the biggest for me.
Okay. Yeah. I like it. Alex, let's send it over to you. If you've ever seen Alex do double unders, you're like, how?
Most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
It's gotten better. Like he crushes double unders. Don't get me wrong. The performance outcome is amazing, but you watch him and you're like, what is happening? Alex, what about yourself? Did you struggle with double unders? What did that look like? And then go into coaching them.
Right. So for myself, double unders went well in that workout, mostly because it's a small enough number for me to do those unbroken. But yeah, if anyone has ever seen my posture when I do double unders, it's come a long way. But it's a lot of tension, different hand placement. It gets the job done, but I also end up exerting myself a lot more than someone probably should. But yeah, from like a coaching standpoint, do I like coaching double unders? The answer is no. And it's funny because you can empathize for people who struggle with them, and there's a lot of things in coaching or like in our CrossFit space when we teach Olympic weightlifting or other skilled movements where you can have a sure answer, a cue that is very short and like actionable. What we found, and mostly this is through like my trial and error. Like I've had people coach me through double unders and tell me all the things that I'm doing wrong and what I need to change. But when it comes to jump roping, that's multitasking, right? You're jumping and then moving your hands around your feet, and that's not natural for a lot of people. And to think about doing those things a lot of times only makes it more challenging. So I'm still on a mission of like trying to find the most tactful way of teaching someone and guiding them. There's little drills and skills that we do use, and obviously repetition is our friend. But yeah, I would much rather and prefer to teach like an Olympic lift or something like that, where I can like physically put my hands on someone and change how they move. But no, I don't like coaching double unders.
Did you? Very, very similar outlook on double unders. For yourself, back in the day when you first started double unders, was that a struggle? Did you struggle to get the cadence, the pace? I know mine would be very similar to Steph's. It took years for me, literally years, before I could string them together or do even one consistently. What did that look like for you?
Yeah, it's funny. I think that's different for everyone. I think how Steph put it, figuring them out and getting them down, like everyone's in this rush of they hear the rope spinning really fast and they want to do everything fast, right? So it's this constant repetition of spinning a rope. And I think I found myself doing that in a lot of people. And it's like, no, like you just need to flick twice and then you can stop moving your hands and slow things down. And I think for me, like I was able to, when I had a decent rope in my hand, like I was able to figure them out right away and do 20 or 30 not long into it. I was probably better at double unders 4 years ago than I am now. It's weird how that works, but I never learned how to do them super efficient. When you watch people and they talk to you about their workouts and how the jump rope was the rest, I don't know what that means.
I like it. Steph, as a runner, and this being the endurance event, I'm assuming you love endurance running then. Does that carry over to the rower? Are you like, the rower, I love sitting here for long periods of time?
I absolutely hate the rower. Like the bike is my least favorite, and then the rower, and then I don't mind the ski erg. And I actually skied instead of rode.
What? Mm-hmm. You might be the only person I know that did that.
Well, a few people did.
And it went well?
Yep. Yeah. When I figured transition time, you're not strapped in with your feet. And like if I'm not strapped in on the rower, it's going to go worse than it usually does. So I was like, I'll get more calories, more meters and get further if I ski.
Nice.
So
good for you.
Give your legs a little bit of a break. So
it's bold strategy skiing. Alex, did anyone ski? Or no, we didn't have skiers at Friday Night Lights. Never mind.
No, we don't. We don't have skiers at our gym. But I did talk to people who did do skiing, and I've used the skier before, and I'm familiar with it. But it does sound like, as far as like power output and how those machines calibrate, that the skier does reward you a little bit more for accumulating meters. So I could see why people would be drawn to it initially, but I was one of the few who biked on that workout.
That looked gross.
That was actually like, if you attacked it tactfully and you paced it out right for consistency across 10 rounds, the bike was kind of a hidden gem if you could stay calm. And yeah, you'd have fucked up legs after it.
Yeah.
But if your strength is like Steph said, like thrusters or whatever, then it didn't become such a problem.
Yeah.
When you're doing it.
Fair enough.
But no ski erg for me.
No ski erg. What about thrusters, Steph? What does that look like, coaching those?
I like coaching them, but it's hard because it's like you just got to embrace that it's going to suck and you're going to be in pain. Like, you just got to keep going. So it's hard, a little frustrating, too, when you see people just kind of give up and like you can take a breather, but when you're just sitting there staring at them because they don't want to pick them up, it's like, no, like, go. You have to go.
Yeah. What's your... Do you have any like nuggets or pearls for thrusters that you love kind of blowing people's minds with or anything like that for coaching them?
My biggest thing is, when people get tired doing them, just remember, because you end up transferring the power to your arms then. Like, just remember it's all your legs and just keep grinding away with your legs, which, I mean, for me, it's a little easier because my legs are my strongest versus any upper body, but, you know, from running and everything. But that's my favorite. Like, keep your core braced, just use your legs. Like, once you get tired and you realize you're pushing up versus driving through your hips, it's all over if you can't get it back.
I like it.
That.
Alex, what about you? Thrusters? If we're coaching a thruster, what's I mean, obviously, it's always dependent on the individual in front of you, but what's kind of your favorite thing to touch on with thrusters?
Sure. So, you know, Stephanie kind of talked about timing of the movement and developing like a smooth rhythm when you do use your legs and try to drive your hips. I mean, that's something that we try to drive home as much as we can. Usually when we have a workout that's like higher volume or something that's going to elevate the heart rate a little bit more, I tell our athletes to kind of slow down the movement, finish in position, like resting positions, like overhead, so that they can breathe and kind of find a rhythm. And in this case, this week it was dumbbell thrusters, which, you know, comparing a barbell to dumbbells, it's a different game, same movement, but those dumbbells tend to pull you in different directions, and it's not always fun, especially when you're already breathing heavy. So we bring it back to, you know, talking about, you know, people bracing their bellies, keeping their midline tight and ready to receive the dumbbells in more of an upright position, something that they can do consistently. Because if you've watched people with heavier dumbbells, if they're not catching it in the right place, it just kind of goes to shit, right?
Yep.
So those are some of the things that we talk about, and then whatever execution happens.
I like it.
Fingers crossed.
Solid. I was just having flashbacks to Kelsey, so I still hate you.
Easy workout, yeah.
Still hate you. That was like my first workout back into the group setting after a long hunting season. I was like, oh, I'm gonna come work out that day. It was Kelsey.
What is that one?
100 thrusters, and you do 5 minutes on the minute. You start the workout with 5 burpees, and then on the minute, every minute after that, you do 5 burpees. So you stop whatever you're doing and do burpees. It was bad.
Heavy thrusters.
We had one like that with dumbbell thrusters and double unders. That was a good one.
I don't believe you. I'm not a big fan of thrusters. I like wall balls, not thrusters.
But it's pretty much the same thing.
I know, but I just don't like thrusters. I think it's the fact that I can't let go of it. Like the wall ball, I'm like, oh, it's not here. Oh, it's not here.
Being a giant for wall balls kind of helps.
Oh, that too. It's like 4 feet above my wingspan. Not even. Just let go and it's there. Anyways, anybody want to touch on anything else for It's a Trap? I think we covered that one pretty good. Anybody? No? All right. Strength event. This one was fun. Back squats, 20 rep max. Definitely not in my wheelhouse, but still a fun test. I like and Alex and I touched on this last time as being definitely a psychological test, especially once you've got solid technique, you know, you're comfortable squatting weight. It's definitely becomes like 90% mental after that. So, Steph, what did you find with The Black Knight Rises? Actually, first off, have you seen Monty Python?
No.
Oh, man. Brokenhearted right now. So The Black Knight Rises, the bunny is from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and so is the Black Knight. If you've ever seen memes or shirts flying around that say it's only a flesh wound.
Okay.
If you're ever, I'm gonna have to post this on both your pages. Anyways, John messaged me after he listened to the podcast, Alex, and he's like, "Am I that old that no one knows the Monty Python reference?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, you are that old," but I just assumed everyone watched the movie. So Steph hasn't seen it either. It's okay. It's all right. I'm gonna breathe.
Add it to the list.
I'm gonna get past this. Steph, do you not watch a lot of movies?
I do.
It's a classic, Monty Python.
And I have art history minor, and my professor always referenced it. So I was like, I gotta watch this. So I know what he's talking about. And I just
never did. That's fair. Anyways, what did you find, or what did you think going into this workout, and then what did you find after doing it and coaching it?
It was interesting. I didn't really know where to start because I think, you know, we've done some workouts where it's larger rep scheme for back squats, but we could break.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't even know where to start. And, you know, and strategizing with the people that were doing it at Fraternal, same thing. They're like, well, we're just going to warm up for a while and kind of see where we're at. Try to hit like 5, see how that feels.
Yeah.
Especially with 10 reps being that tiebreaker. So we all warmed up, and I was good where I was at, but multiple people had said, oh, I feel like I could have done, 5, maybe 10 pounds heavier at least, once they got done and realized how much time they had left to hit that 1 rep front squat.
Yeah.
I was good because I was like, okay, 5, rest in that back rack position. 5, okay, past that tiebreaker point. Let's just get the other 10 done, and I can put this thing down.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
are you a solid squatter? There's usually like people who are good at squatting and people that are good at deadlifting. Is the squatting your jam?
Squatting is more my jam.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got the form. I just, with that higher reps, I didn't, I hit 135 and I stayed with that, which was good. And then I PR'd my front squat, which was good.
Nice.
But, my second to last one, I could feel it like an inch up as I was driving up. My core just completely broke. And I was like, I'm not putting this thing down. Like, I'm pushing through it. And then I hit one more and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to squat for a couple days.
Yeah, for sure.
But,
did you have, I know for myself it was depending on, what division the athlete signed up for, who they are, whether they're a squatter or a deadlifter, just like where they're comfortable with that movement. Definitely controlled or like decided how I went about coaching them because, so Alex and I touched on this last podcast, is like a true 20 rep max. It's going to take you a while, a couple minutes. You're going to be with that barbell on your back. But for the novice or the person that doesn't have their form for the back squat, you don't want them spending that much time with the bar on their back. It's not going to get better before it gets worse. So what was kind of your approach to coaching athletes of different skill levels?
Sure. Well, most of the people doing BPO have been doing CrossFit for a while now. So we didn't have anybody that was, super new to it. So it was basically just based on, kind of their style and how they work out, trying to get them through it, whether it's, coaching them through form or through the mental barrier of it, of like, don't think of the weight, just focus on your form and keep going.
Yeah.
And we had people finish from, their tiebreaker was like 20 some seconds up to a minute.
Yeah.
So it was kind of varying there. And that's why most of them were like, I could have gone heavier for the 20. But most people did really well on that. It was just coaching them through the 1 rep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Alex, so after what we talked about last week, kind of going into this event, what did you find after a week of coaching it and Friday Night Lights and doing the workout?
Yeah. So I was happy with like all the outcomes and the execution like of our classes. It was definitely a challenge to coach that, and I kind of saw that coming. As far as, everyday athletes, they don't know what their ceiling is or what they should be doing. Most people don't know their 1 rep maxes. But when we had these conversations with people to ballpark what they should use, we're like, well, if you know what your 1 rep max is, or if you know like within 10 to 20 pounds of it, we're posing for a picture.
Picture quick. Bam. Okay, continue.
For those athletes that have a rough idea of what their 1 rep max is, we did use like a theoretical percentage, like 7. We said if you would hit 75% of your 1 rep max,
I like
that
it.
That would be a great thing, and that your goal should be at least 65%. So that gave people like a 10 to 15 pound buffer, or because some people can't even tell you like I had someone with like their 1 rep max squat is like 325, and they were convinced that they were gonna hit 300 for 20. and I was like, so let's resurface this. But it was cool to see.
I like their energy.
Right.
That's like the person that comes in and they're like, they went through fundies. You touch on handstand push-ups or gymnastics, and then they see it in a workout and they're like, I watched YouTube videos. I got this, coach. And then you're like, do you have insurance? They're like, yeah. They're like, okay, go ahead. I want to see what happens and laugh.
Right. So yeah, it was good. That helped, and we certainly had people that still that did it. And that's the thing with the 20 rep max. Like, you've squatted that barbell 20 times. Like, who's to say you couldn't squat it another time or two? So finding that absolute 20 rep max, I don't know if that really exists, kind of thing. Like, could you add 5 more pounds, like, and redo it a couple of days later? Sure, because you know exactly what you did and you know what it takes to get that. So we try not to let them dwell on that too much. But I thought that was a cool, you don't see that much in online competitions or in general, and it did give people a chance. Like, I'm thinking of myself, like, I have not a strong person, don't have a high
that's horseshit
front squat, but the 20 rep gave me a chance to hang with some people.
And it was definitely I felt like a great equalizer to be able to, like, combine the scores from the 20 rep to the 1 rep.
Right.
Like, I felt like the equalizers in this year's Open, I think we've talked about this, but, like, from the first workout, the 10 rounds plus the rowing, those being 2 events, like, the split you saw on scores for people for, like, my own ranking was pretty cool to see. And then being, like you said, going from someone like yourself who is super strong at their body weight but can hold at that higher percentage for reps versus the person who's, you know, might be bigger or just, like, more absolute strength, not that more of a endurance strength. It's cool to see that there to kind of level the playing field.
In both those workouts, you could kind of leverage the workout and, you know, pick how you wanted to attack it. Like, if you wanted to conserve more on the back squat and give everything that you have to the front squat just so you could do something crazy, like, you could do that if you wanted to. Like
Mason.
So
Mason, like, goes for a PR, like, crushes it, but he did it after the workout.
to surface this for listeners,
Mason set the stage.
Is a 22-year-old crazy college kid who is 5'6", probably 170, 175 pounds, like a smaller guy. And he finished the workout and he went for a 400-pound front squat, almost died standing the thing up, but he did stand it up and he did front squat 400 pounds.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And how often do you think he works out right now between hunting and fishing?
Yeah, this isn't a knock on Mason or anything. But
no, the kid's a freak.
Yeah, I don't think it's his top priority, but he finds an ability to show up and put on a show from time to time. So.
The kid is ridiculous.
That sounds ridiculous.
I love watching him and Tommy throw down. Just drink a beer and watch that.
Right.
Yeah, it was crazy to see. It was crazy. And then he almost died in the rack. And I'm like yelling at Tommy and Sam because they're standing there, and Mason, like, comes up and he hits the J hook instead of putting it in the rack, and they're just standing there like, yeah.
I come sprinting.
Yeah, Alex like hurdles a plyo box to help him out. But it was good. Steph, can you talk about any of the, because you mentioned a few people, you PR'd and a few other people PR'd their front squats. Why do you think that is after all of that work? Steroids. Other than steroids.
I think, well, when we did it after, we had looked up the leaderboard, so seeing what other people had kind of hit, that's kind of where we were like, okay, well, if we warm up enough, let's see if we can hit this, this weight. And I think just that competitiveness of like, well, I know somebody hit this, but I want to get this for my total weight. So that's what I hit on my back squat. I got to add like 5 more on my front. And, everybody's form was okay still. So I'm like, go for it.
Yeah.
Like, you got plenty of time because everybody had, 6 to 8 minutes to keep warming up through the front squat. So I was like, keep going.
Just get after it.
Just add on, yeah.
I like it. Anyone have anything to add for Black Knight Rises? I want to touch on anything? Anything squat related? No. Did Charles sign up for the Open?
No, that would have been cool.
Oh my God, that would have been fun. So Charles McDonald, I don't know if you've met him, but he's competed to go to the Olympics for weightlifting. He does weightlifting seminars here in Wisconsin. He trained under Chaplin at what's his first name? But he's a really good weightlifter, Olympic weightlifter. Dude is just like crazy freakish strong, and he baseline athlete with Alex. It would have been fun to watch him just like get after that workout. And I'd be interested to see what he did for 20 reps.
He sent me a video a year and a half ago.
This guy sent me a video from a year and a half ago of a 505-pound front squat. So I know that.
Did it look good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He's also 5 foot 5'5", 5'6", a man of steel, short levers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's fucking kids.
Fucking kids.
Stupid.
Fucking kids. Exactly. Bam. All right, Charles. Shout out Charles. Love you, buddy. 30 for 30. Event number 3. This one, I love a barbell. I really don't like barbell cycling workouts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. But it was fun. I still enjoyed it. Love the old Fran lung when it's over. Steph, what'd you find in this workout?
This is one.
Intermediate would have been RX Grace, right? 95 pounds.
95. Yep.
What's your 1 rep push press? One rep max push press.
It's about 95. I think I might have hit 105. So this one I knew was gonna be rough.
I love that though about female athletes. So all the time they're like, "This is my 1 rep overhead press," and then they can do it like 50 times.
Mm-hmm.
Like my 1 rep push press, I'm not doing 30 times, and I'm not doing it in the time I did. Alex, how about yourself?
How the workout goes?
Well, no, if you were, so like she's saying her 1 rep push press is 95 pounds and she was able to do RX Grace. Would you be able to do RX Grace or not? You know,
my 1 rep max?
Yeah, at your 1 rep max.
No.
That's what amazes me.
There's
Like
no
you're so
version
strong.
ever.
Yeah, there's no way.
Of that, yeah.
And it'd be a 2-day event.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I wouldn't do it.
Back to Steph. So you're beast moding it out at your 1 rep max.
Mm-hmm.
How'd it go? What were you thinking about?
It was basically just.
Did you PR Grace? If you PR'd Grace, I might be a little angry with you.
I did not.
Okay,
No.
good.
Well, honestly, I think that might be the first time I did it. RX.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you did PR.
That's awesome.
So I guess. Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. It was basically, I again went last out of the group and just said, I just need to keep moving because I'm not going to be able to cycle this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not even going to try because
Okay.
I know it's going to be too much. So I dropped it every time.
So you didn't have the weird collarbone shoulder bruises from...
I did, just
Okay,
from hitting it on the
just
clean.
okay.
Yeah, my clean's got a little messy.
Yeah, slow elbows, it happens.
Yeah, around 21.
Yeah.
And, the person who's judging me, she's like, yeah, I could tell around rep 21 you were like, I don't want to do this anymore. But I kept going, and then it was just make your burning legs keep moving over
Mm-hmm.
that box. So it took me the longest out of everybody at Fraternal, but I mean, it's another one where it's awesome but awful at the same time. Like, I like it. I like clean and jerks. So It was just, I knew it was going to be a little bit more of a struggle versus some of the other ones just based on the weight.
Yeah.
So, and coaching it was fun. Just, our scaled athlete, she can do a little bit more than the 65 pounds.
Okay.
So she was a beast.
Just
like
throwing it around.
nonstop. I was, watching her and then putting a few things away. I turned around. I was like, she hasn't put that fucking barbell down at all. And she did it. It was under 3. It was like 251 or something.
Nice.
Total. So yeah. And when she got on the box, she was just like, same thing, just boom, done with it.
Did you do box jumps or step ups?
I did step ups.
Okay.
I was going to try to do jumps, and the first step up, I was like, this is not happening. So I don't think anybody, Dave might have, our guy that did RX.
Okay.
He might have done jumps. We went at the same time, so I don't know what
Yeah,
was happening.
you weren't paying attention. That's fair.
Yeah, but I think everybody else did step ups.
Do you teach hook grip for athletes if they are cycling or just in Olympic lifting in general?
Try to. That's one I'm working on too yet because unless I'm going super heavy, if I'm trying to cycle, it's easier for me since I'm not used to it to cycle it without hook gripping.
Mm-hmm.
But Danielle, the athlete doing scaled that just crushed it, I don't believe she did hook grip either. But, you know,
Wow.
try to get people to do it. Everybody, for the most part, says, you know, because they're not used to it. It hurts my thumb more to do that than it hurts my grip.
Yeah,
to
the
do
forearms and
that.
everything.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So,
Cool.
yeah.
Well, congrats on the Grace PR.
Thanks.
Alex, what about yourself after our talk last week on how you he tried it and he went out ham and he did, what did you say, 17?
Yeah, no, it was like 15. Yeah,
15 clean and
close,
jerks?
Yeah. So this was the one workout where I'm like, yeah, I need to redo this because I imploded on my first attempt. But I kind of wanted to do that and see, so that, you know, I like to have a conversation with my athletes or get them pointed in the right direction. So I did that. I exploded, and then, like Steph said, like, I had full intentions to rebound and do like box jump overs and do them fast. And I did my first jump and I almost fell, and I knew that I couldn't jump, so I stepped over for the majority of them and had a time that was okay. But then I changed my strategy completely and did singles the second time, fast singles, and I found that while I was still fucked up after the workout, I did have more in my legs because I didn't have as much time under tension, and I was able to do the box jump overs faster, and I think I shaved off like 30 seconds or so. And in that workout, that was good. So that was like the strategy that I pitched to most of our people, unless, like, you know, Steph was saying, some people, the division that they're signed up for, and if that was their strength, they could kind of grip and rip on a barbell like that. And then like 99% of our members did step overs, and that's what we pointed them. We're just like, hey, like, you know, this is a sprint event. This workout's gonna take away from your legs, and you're gonna want to get on the box right away. Throw away your pride, whatever it is, unless you're a box jump, you know, wizard. Let's do step overs. And I think we were happy with the strategies. The outcome of that workout and what it did to people was probably that was the worst workout for us as far as the carnage.
Yeah.
Like, people were
pretty messed up. Yeah. Yeah, and then it was did you end up doing box jumps when you redid it?
Yeah, I was able to do. I did 27 in a row back and forth, and then my legs were quitting. I had to step over my last 3. I don't go that hard anymore, but I went full send, as the kids say.
Yeah.
And I was not okay after it.
Did it feel equally as shitty the second time?
Over-
You didn't cycle?
Yeah, so overall, like, after the workout, yeah. You know what? I changed my mind. It did not feel as bad as the first time. And I knew when I did those clean and jerks, like I told Bill this, like I dropped after 15 or whatever it was, and I looked at the barbell on the ground. I'm like, oh no. Because like then I did singles the rest of the way, and my first single after that was not, it did not feel good.
I like it. Alex, I don't think you covered on it, but do you coach hook grip then?
Yeah, like that's one of those things that we always go like over with new athletes, and if we're teaching like weightlifting, like principles and basics, we talk about that, we show them that, and we have them work through it. Now, if you ever remember the transition of like, well, maybe you were doing hook grip right away, but I remember when I would kind of baseball grip a barbell right when I started, and then making the transition to a hook grip for most, it's not a comfortable thing, and it peels away skin and whatever, and they're like, why the fuck are we doing this? But now when you're converted or whatever, you don't see any life without hook grip, and you start hook gripping your steering wheel and whatever else. So yeah, we definitely teach it. We go over it and the reasons for it and what you can do. Sometimes that hook grip stuff with like barbell cycling is a challenge to try to re-grip and do all this stuff. But yeah, team hook grip.
Yeah, awesome. It was a great workout. It rocked people. Rocked people's worlds. I think that's all I got. Anybody else got anything to add? They want to add to 30 for 30?
Nope.
Yeah, moving right along. All right. Where are we at? Workouts. Last event. What's the name of this one? I don't even know how to say that. Equifinality? Equifinality? We'll go with that. I don't know the reference on that. From Tron, maybe. I'll have to Google it or ask John. Either of you know what that's from?
Mm-mm.
That one's lost to me. John, you're a nerd. We got 12-minute time cap on this workout. I'll go over RX division. We got, or just through all of them. 100 chest to bar pull-ups for RX, 100 pull-ups for intermediate, 100 ring rows. I love the ring row standard because so many people like take it easy on those, and now they're like, oh, these are really hard. I'm like, that's where you should be doing them.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever want to get to like pull-ups or just keep your shoulders healthy, is like that's where you should be doing your rows from. And we've got 100 goblet squats, 53-35 for RX, 35-26 for scale or intermediate, and 35-26 for scaled. Then we've got 100 single arm kettlebell snatch for RX and intermediate, different weights, and then 100 American kettlebell swings, 300 feet of handstand walk for RX. That'll be fun. 100. I'd rather do that than handstand push-ups though, to be honest. And then 100 handstand push-ups for intermediate, 100 hand release push-ups for scaled, and then 100 kettlebell burpee deadlifts for everyone at the same weight you did the goblet squats and the hang snatch at. When I first looked at this workout, I was like, 12 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. And then the more I think about it, I'm like, I'm not going to get all of it done, but I can get a good chunk of it done because there's some fast movements in there. Anyways, Steph, what's your thoughts looking at this workout?
Oh, when I saw this, I was like, props to John for coming up with the shittiest 4 workouts ever.
Thank you. Good. Yes, agreed. The least excited I've ever been for an open.
Right.
But it's that's when you also realize you're like, oh, this is stuff I need to be doing. These are
right.
good workouts to push the comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. When I think, like you said, you see it and you think, oh, this is just gonna suck, and then you're like, oh well, these, you can move faster on these few movements, and it's just 1 or 2 that are gonna be a little bit more time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
So 12 minutes doesn't seem so far off.
Yeah.
But still, it's manageable.
So a question I want to ask the two of you in regards to this workout, coaching and competition so how you would approach competition in general is, do you double down on your strengths in a workout like this, or just in competition in general? Or are you someone who's in training like, oh man, I really have to spend more time on the weaknesses, if that makes sense, to really better your performance? So I guess, what does that look like for you in CrossFit and running?
Yeah. So I would say, it depends on the movements, honestly, because if it's that difficult for me and it's what I'm really working on, it's like, how can I stay, I think endurance, like consistent throughout the whole, 12 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever it would be. So like the rep scheme for this one, how am I going to break that down so I can move, a steady pace the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just going to get stuck for minutes on, one thing. So that's, more like the mental strategy behind that.
And are you any of my friends, anyone listening that I'm calling you out on this, I guess. So like people that get frustrated with double unders or jump ropes and they throw their jump rope in the middle of the workout, I always find that funny because it's like, well, you're in control. It's not like the jump rope is sabotaging you or, actively competing against you. It's in your control. What's the result or the outcome of your performance is under your control. Are you someone that freaks out about the stuff that's out of your control, or do you focus, purely on what you can control? I guess, what does that look like for you?
I focus on what I can control. It's not worth your time, energy, effort to focus on things that are out of your control.
So you're not going to freak out about the weather?
No.
If it's like less than optimal and you're going out for a training run or a race?
No.
Nice.
And my marathon in October was like freaking monsoon. So it's like, all right, well, we're already all wet. Let's do it.
I like it.
So, I get frustrated when I see people like with double unders like chuck their jump rope. It's like, what's that going to do? Is that going to help anything?
And your time's slower.
Right? You're just more frustrated now.
Yep.
So, it's just focus on what you can control.
I like it.
Yeah.
Alex, you're looking at this workout. I'm looking at this workout, pretending I'm you. And you're like, oh, I can crush this. Give me 10 minutes. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah. I think it's cool John kind of does a good job and takes pride of in this competition in creating opportunities for everyone to find a way to do every workout, regardless of like your skill level and your strengths and weaknesses. So that strategy kind of comes into play. And I think this workout is like an example of that, where you get to choose how you want to break things up and how you want to do it. There's 5 movements with 100 reps. If you look at that on paper in 12 minutes, if no one knows this workout is impossible to finish. There's no version. If you do finish it, you cheated. Sorry. It's not possible. Hopefully someone proves me wrong. But,
right.
I think that's cool. So in this kind of workout, like each division has gymnastic movements, which we haven't seen a lot of in this competition. But if those are your wheelhouse movements, you can use them to your advantage and do some more damage in this workout. But in the same token, if you're limited, like if you're an intermediate and you're challenging yourself, but you're not quite in the handstand push-up club or whatever, you can still do well in this workout and avoid the movement completely, which
team no pull-ups.
Right.
Boom.
So, and that's nice. Like your strengths and weaknesses can come into play, and you're not just out, which is kind of nice. Like sometimes we see in other online events or whatever.
Oh, what was the open event where it started with muscle ups?
Yeah, that's right.
Was that?
I know exactly.
2 years ago.
I don't know, but it started with like 7 ring muscle ups or something.
And then the internet world just
over.
Fucking rioted.
No sympathy, but that's part like. I mean, that's why we're attracted to John's competitions and why a lot of people like them too, is because it creates an opportunity for everyone to compete and not be limited. In this workout, I don't like when I'm gonna have this conversation, and breaking this down for people is gonna suck because there's a million different ways to do it, but I think you gravitate towards your strengths, use those things. The question is, how many of the movements are you going to do like in a pattern? Like some people might just say, hey, just do kettlebell snatches and goblet squats and go to town on them until they're done. Or if you have a pull-up wizard and a handstand push-up or handstand walking wizard, someone might say, go to town on those 2 movements until they're done or gone. But I think the best approach, the most well-rounded approach, will be the one where you can cycle through a pattern at a low rep scheme over and over and over again. That's what I would tell someone who's going to do this workout, and never get to the point of something like a pull-up or a handstand walk or a goblet squat. Goblet squats will get hard too, right? Yeah. Never get to a point where you're like, I'm going to fail or I'm going to lose this movement, all right? Whether that's holding 5s, 8s, or 10s, people can figure out what that is, and you keep going till a movement is crossed off, and then your window of 5 movements to 4 movements to 3. I don't know. I think that some people can get over 400, but that's going to be hard. But if I had to do a strategy, even if you were a wizard in some of these movements, I would pick something where you can go through at least 3 of the movements, hopefully 4. And then I think if you had to look at all these movements on paper, I mean, I don't know what you guys would say out of those 5 movements. Which one would be? I guess it depends on your strengths and weaknesses, right? It does. But
so to go off because I completely agree with you. I think the handstand is the tiebreaker, right? That's the point, whatever on your score. So for me, I can move a kettlebell all day. Like I'm not like, the kettlebell is the least of my concerns. So I'm going to be doing manageable sets on that, like you're talking about. Like what's your threshold before it starts to do what the thrusters and the row did on that first event? So what's that threshold? How many reps can you do before you start to redline or start to slow down and then stop and then go do my handstand push-ups? And for me, that's going to look like 3 to 5 reps per set on the handstand push-ups. Something I can bang out fast, my form is going to be solid, and something I can repeat long term.
And it's like a breakaway from.
It's a breakaway from the kettlebell. It's going to be a strength. The handstand push-up is going to be strength timing and a break from those other movements. So for me, it's going to be like do the goblet squats and then maybe do bigger sets of handstand push-ups because it's not shoulder intensive. And then when I go to the kettlebell snatch, using my arms a little bit more, whatever that set looks like, and then go to smaller sets on the handstand push-ups. Like, where's that threshold where I'm never missing? Because a missed rep on on this is it's gonna suck. Like not only for your score, but like psychologically. If you like you were talking about, Alex, if you get to that point where your pull-ups or your handstand push-ups go away, it's not good. Especially as the handstand push-ups are your tiebreaker. So it's gonna be kind of looking at these movements and picking which one is my jam. Start there because you're gonna be able to go fast. You're gonna be able to push the pace, and then do that tiebreaker movement, and then start to go through the movements and then proceed to the next movement. That's like middle of the ground, and then that movement that might slow me down the most. I think that's where I'm going to start with. So like this is a workout where I look at it and I'm going to double down on my strengths, and then kind of like survival. What can I do? Where can I maximize the output on my weaknesses? And 100 handstand push-ups at 215 pounds is definitely a weakness. So yeah, that's kind of my strategy going into this workout. If you wanted an example.
Yes, that's good.
It's gonna suck. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So, Steph, what's your strategy for this workout? You were talking at the start of the podcast. You're just doing strict pull-ups.
That's what it's gotta be at this point. Yeah. So
I'm just not gonna do any pull-ups unless I finish everything else, which probably won't happen.
Yeah. When I was thinking higher reps, like you guys said, of my strengths and like the kettlebell 26 isn't going to be terrible for me. So I think doing more of that and then hitting like 3 to 5 pull-ups and then handstand push-ups too, because that's one I have, but I'm also working on still. It's a little bit ugly when I do.
Yeah.
So it's going to be just managing to the point where I'm not going to miss one, because that will be a mind fuck for sure. For sure. And especially in 12 minutes where you don't really have time to spare to be like, okay, fuck. Like, what am I going to do? So I think higher reps on the ones that I think I can get through all 100 reps, and then just keep cranking away.
Yeah.
Chipping away at the...
Chipping away.
Yeah.
I like it. So I don't know if the two of you have similar stories, but like the handstand push-up for me is one of those movements where I've got some of my most fond memories because of how long it took to be able to do them or even kick up. I can remember, I think it was off a CrossFit New England site or a workout. It was a barbell cycling workout, and every time you drop, it was 2,000 or 3,000 pounds. Accumulate that ground overhead, however you want to do it. But every time you take a break, you have to do a round of, it was pistols or air squats. I forget the second movement. And then it was like a small set of handstand push-ups. And I was like, and that back then I didn't have a coach. I didn't know what progressions were. So that's how I worked on movements, was it's just me like, oh, well, I'm going to work on it in a workout, because that made sense for whatever reason. And I had never even kicked up like upside down before. It was always in my like, this is how you do it in your, in my mind. Kick up, fall down, kick up, fall down. And then I think after like the 5th or 6th try, I was able to figure out how to balance. And then going down, you're like, arms are shaking. You're like, this is really far down. And you're like, you got to be at the floor. And then you like video yourself and you realize you've done like just the shoulder movement of the handstand push-up. Like you haven't actually descended anywhere relatively close to the floor. So I just remember for me handstand push-ups being like near impossible when I first started, and even now if I get frustrated or I'm like, the open last year with deadlifts and handstand push-ups being like, oh man, I should be able to do more, and then thinking back like, no, you're in a good place. Like this used to be an impossible movement. So for me, I love, like, they suck in a workout, but I love doing them. And I don't like when they go away, because that's a helpless feeling. But I don't know.
Pretty good at handstand push-ups for a big dude.
Yeah, I for whatever reason they're fun to do, and it's like a love-hate relationship. But I don't know about the two of you. Steph, do you have if it's not handstand push-ups, do you have movement in CrossFit that's kind of like that?
Oh, the pull-up for sure. When I started 3 years ago, that's what I told James when I got there. I was like, I want to do a pull-up. Like, I've been
After you said that, did you like jump on the bar and then you're like, ah?
No, I was like, I already knew trying it at home. I was like, it's nowhere near.
Gotcha.
And it took me 2 years, I was coaching one morning on a Saturday, and I was demoing, and I was like, okay, like, this is how I demo. I just get as high as I can.
Uh-huh.
And I got my chin above the bar, and I was just like, holy shit, what just happened? Like, and I was coaching, so I couldn't get, like, so excited.
You mic drop the remote for the clock, and you just walk out. You're like, Bloody Marys, bitches, I'm out.
So that's mine. Handstand push-ups. It took me a while to get, but I wasn't, I think just I was so excited about the pull-ups. That's why that one is mine. But I'm at that point, where I'm like, I can do 5 or 6 strict.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I'm working on getting up to 10, so then I can work on the kip and, improve there. So
I like it.
yeah.
Awesome. Alex, what about you? You gymnastics wizard over there.
Yeah, I mean, my problems aren't like the same as.
It's probably the first time you like cycled 315 on a deadlift or.
Yes. Yeah, my like where things get put into perspective for me, like strength, raw strength, absolute strength has always been like my whole, and it's nice. Like whenever I do the Bullet Point Open or something, like an online event comes out and something like that happens, I'm continually reminded like, hey, yep, like that's your weakness. And at times you can look at that and be like, man, I'm still here. I don't do it anymore, but I would spend all the time trying to make that not a weakness by like, moving as best as I can, paying attention to the small details and nuances of a lift and seeing a program through whatever it is, you try to improve those things. But there's still people that are beating you, and it's still a weakness for you kind of thing. But when you look at where I started, and I see videos of myself as like little 21-year-old Alex who like was just learning the mechanics of a squat, and when my barbell complexes were 135, and now they're like slanging 225, like that, then you're like, hey, like you're doing okay. You've come a long way. You have worked at this thing.
Yeah.
But, mine's just a little different than what most people kind of work on.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, we're at an hour. Flew by. So let's we'll wrap this up. Steph, is there Friday Night Lights? Is there what's going on what does the last workout look like at Fraternal?
So we aren't doing anything like Friday Night Lights or anything. We're going to do it Saturday morning.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's just our small
Saturday
crew.
morning coffee and 500 reps. I like it. Good.
Too. Yeah, so it'll be fun. It's our small crew doing it, and we've been doing it like 1 or 2 people at a time, depending on people's schedules. So it's fun because it's small, but and it's a group where we all know each other pretty well. So
gotcha.
We know how to push each other. So yeah,
I like it. Alex, what about you? What's Friday? What does this last workout look like?
So yep, we're excited. It's the last week, but Friday we will have a Friday Night Lights event at 5:00. This was for our community. We like pushed our athletes to like do this, so we had a lot of registrants, and that's 5:00 at Cross to Stevens Point. We'll have a good crew there, mixed with some of your crew from D1, organize heats in a way so that this can be done. And then, decompress after that, eat some pizza, hopefully drink some beers, and close the week.
Are you raffling off a barbell? Did I see that?
Yeah, we're going to do that because, we had a lot of registrants. We want some equipment. So we're going to have, because part of the challenge in the affiliate cup or whatever you want to call it this year for Bullet Point has, separate events, and one of them is a fundraising event. We had a couple members that are gym coaches actually that wanted to do a fundraiser for the Australian fires going on right now. So right now we've outlined the Australian Red Cross as a fundraiser for that, and we're going to do a raffle ticket option so that we can raise money for that. And then I think we're just going to do one barbell, one winner. Whoever gets the ticket gets a nice is it Cerakote, or is that what they say, barbell? I don't know.
That sounds right.
Okay. Bullet Point barbell, which those are pretty sweet. So
yeah, those are nice.
That'll incentivize some people to raise some money for that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna I'm gonna chip in. I think it's what John's doing this year. Bumper plates are great, obviously, but the option for other equipment, whatever your gym needs, and he's always tailoring it to the affiliates and how he can give back to the functional fitness community. So that's cool. Be there. Beer and pizza. I can't wait. Just got to finish the workout. You're gonna flow there, Alex? You excited for the flow of that workout?
Yeah, I think that. I mean, the first week we conquered that. 32 people and different rowing machines and whatever. So knockout. I mean, we were prepared for it, but I think if we can handle the first week, that knock on wood, I think we can handle this last week. So
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed it, and stay tuned for the last update. Other than that, good luck on this workout. Have fun and be safe.